I want to share this book with you guys today. The Awesome, Impossible, Unstoppable Gadget by Kevin Kelly and Rebecca Kelly. Dear Mom, you were right. I love Camp Create. The food isn't bad and the campers are great. And we get to take part in the famous tradition that's known as the Gadgets Galore competition. There's one little kid here with talent and spunk, so we call him Professor Von Junk. And he's got an idea for a gadget so clever that everyone wants to help put it together. So Newton and Watson and Babbage and Bell and Hubble and Lovelace and Morris and Noble and Techno and Tesla and all the rest gave up on their projects to work on the best. Everyone except me. I think helping is nice, but I want to come up with my own cool device. Dear Mom, I went to the lab to begin, but the room was so crowded I couldn't get in. I tried to speak up to get help from the crowd, but I don't think they heard me. The place was so loud. When Professor Von Junk finally lowered his head, I asked for some tools, and you know what he said? He said, sure, but first I need help with a job. Tighten the knob on that thingamabob. Find a doohickey. That one's too big. Loosen the screws on that thingamajig. For a second, I wanted to quit and go home. But you're right. I can figure this out on my own. A challenge was made. I refuse to refuse it. What good is a brain if I choose not to use it? Dear Mom, I just realized my cute little cabin's the perfect location to set up a lab in. I made beakers and tubes out of bottles and straws, clippers and grippers from fossilized claws, mechanical arms out of branches and strings, electrical motors from soup cans and springs. Battery juice out of sweaty old socks and dimensional vortex from magnets and clocks. And to give it some sparkle once everything's through, dried macaroni and glitter and glue. Dear Mom, things have taken a turn for the worse. My invention is working, but it runs into reverse. So I went to the lab for advice from the crew, and I noticed a problem with their gadget too. I tried making noises and waving my arms, but nobody noticed my cries of alarm. They continued to work on their wacky machine. Professor Von Junk was all over the scene, adding pipes and propellers and helium tanks and pistons and pulleys and cables and cranks. And the more that they rushed and the more that they hurried, the more they missed their mistake, and I was worried. Dear Mom, here's what happened. Von Junk and his team were about to reveal their enormous machine when they flipped on the speakers and called for attention. Behold the invention to end all inventions. And before I had time to convince him to stop, Professor Von Junk pushed the button on top. Inventions, contraptions, and gadgets galore came firing out till they covered the floor. In less than a minute, the building was shaken with things the invention inventor was making. Everyone screamed and went running for cover as gadgets like magic invented each other. Gizmos and widgets were flooding the halls, shaking and quaking and breaking down walls, exploding like lava from Gadget's volcanoes, and flying like frisbees from Gadget tornadoes. And just as I thought they had missed a small glitch, it had an on button, but not an off switch. So I quickly pulled my gadget out of my pack and raised it and gave my big button a smack. Then everything stopped with the sound of that smack, and all the inventions began to float back, and everyone fleeing from all the commotion began to return in a backward slow motion. Soon everything settled and fell into place as all of the horrible mess was erased. And you'll never believe it, Mom, I was the champ, and I got a new name from the kids back at camp. I can't wait to tell everybody at school. Kisses and hugs, Professor O'Toole.